It's time for the fifth of the Matchbox Challenge kits. I don't know what it is yet. Find out with me right here on Gary's Stuff. Hi, I'm Gary. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today, indeed, is the fifth of the Matchbox Challenge kit reveals. I don't know what the kit's going to be. It's a slightly bigger box than the other four so far, so I'm hoping it's going to be a bigger plane or whatever than the others have been so far. No guarantee it's going to be an aircraft because Matchbox did many subjects as a company that was very active in the 70s and 80s, quite often doing kits that other companies didn't do. So some interesting things as well as the familiar. Now, if you like the show, and I hope you do, please remember, best way to support the channel, which doesn't cost you anything, is to subscribe. If you also then hit that bell, you'll be notified of everything I publish as it comes online. And of course, if you watch anything and you like it, please do remember, give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. And if you would like to make a more concrete contribution to the channel, you can do that through any of my online partner programs, details of which are in the information box below. Okay, let's have a look inside this package and see what Simon has sent me this time. So here we are. I've taken off all of the address labels, of course, because we don't want to see that. We want to protect the innocent. So let's see what we've got. This is a bigger kit than Simon has sent before, so I'm quite excited to see what it actually is. I don't know if any of you got a wish list. I know some people say the Strand Ra, because that would be fun watching me trying to do all the rigging. Some say the Hayford, just because that would be actually a cool kit. I'm sure whatever it is going to be fun, especially as it's a bit bigger. Ooh. Now, okay. Oh, I've just seen what it is. Okay, I have to go around this way. This is just... you think I've been excited before. You have no idea how pleased I am about the contents of this box. Ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, I give you the Matchbox handley-page Halifax. Oh yes, not just a handley-page Halifax, but a Halifax in my favourite colour scheme of all, Coastal Command, white and grey. Oh my goodness, how happy am I about that? And just to add to it, there's this. Now, no, it's an old club. I never got this, by the way. I never got this copy of the club magazine, and I'll show you why it is so important to me to have this. I never got a copy of this, even though I was a member of the club, I will point out, because, let me see if I can find it. In here, yeah, Sting of the Hornisa, yes, I remember that. Thank you so much. I do remember all of that, because in here is the members gallery, and there is my HMS Devonshire. Ha! I never got this in print before. So Simon, thank you for that. That was very thoughtful, I have to say. Very, very kind and very thoughtful of you to send me that. However, this beast of an aeroplane, Mr. Airfix, this is what you should be doing, Halifaxes. But as you can't be bothered to do it yet, I'm going to do it. Oh, look there, and it's all perfect and lovely, mate. This is above and beyond. This really is above and beyond. This is just so exciting. The decals actually look pretty reasonable, which is nice. So I'll have a look at the kit as a whole properly in a minute, but first of all, just enjoy the box art, enjoy the beauty of the box art. Isn't it wonderful? These engines, interesting. Inline engines. Rear turret, 4-gun mid-upper, 4-gun rear turret. Absolutely beautiful. And it's obviously different versions because it's a GR2, a Mark 1 and a Mark 2, so you can obviously got different front ends of it, which is very nice. Whether or not you've got the mid-upper turret. 1979, apparently. Yeah, there you go. 58 Squadron. Oh, St. David's. Yeah, I've been down there. 76 Squadron at Linton on Ouse. And number 10 Squadron at Leeming. Very nice. Very nice indeed. That is definitely the kit for me, though. The H2S radar, 2 turrets. That's definitely one for me. Absolutely lovely. Well, let's have a closer look and see what actually comes inside the box. Okay, so top opening box, which is fantastic. Inside we have a plastic bag containing the clear parts. There's quite a lot of clear parts because there's options. The decal sheet is in as well, probably getting scratched to pieces by the clear parts, but there we go. There's some big plastic frames. They're showing a little bit of being knocked about, but this is an old kit. They didn't protect them terribly well. It's a second-hand kit, so. But this isn't impossible to clean any of these things. 3 colours, of course. There we go. And look, 3 crew figures as well. But we'll have a closer look at the frames. And then the instructions, colour plans, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's have another look at the bits individually in a bit more detail. The first frame has the upper wing sections, the upper tailplane parts, some of the engine nacelles. One's fallen off, but that is in the box, so that's okay. Tail wheel and some of the interior. I guess it's a radio operator station as well. And here we have the lower halves of the wings, lower halves of the tailplanes, gear doors, the engine nacelles and the undercarriages, and the H2S radar set blister as well is here. That we will be using that. The other frame of black plastic is the rest of the engine parts, main wheels, propellers, the bomb bay. No, that's the bomb bay on the roof of the bomb bay. Props, the crew figures, undercarriage, bomb bay doors, things like that. Oh, and the guns. And then finally we have the 2 fuselage halves. We have the 2 nose sections in halves. And we have the 2 designs of tailplane, the rounded one and the slab ones. And we also have that's the instrument panel. This is a blanking piece for the mid-upper turret, I suspect, if you're not having it. Then there is the transparent pieces, gun turrets, lights, windows, the alternate nose section here for the one I'm building. And then there's a nose turret here as well, with I suspect a chin blister that goes with it. There's the actual pilot's cover here. When you have a look at the plastic, there's a tiny bit of a moulding issue here. There's a flow issue. I don't know, until I prime that, I don't know how that's going to come out, whether it's going to be visible or not. There's a crease. It might be, so that might need a tiny bit of filling, but I'll see how that goes. It's not something you can feel with your fingertip, or even with a fingernail. You can't feel it, so it might be okay once it's primed, but we'll have to see. There's a little bit of scuffing here from the parts that have been in the box, for however many years. Again, a very, very light sand with some light sort of 3000 grit and some water will definitely get rid of that. No problem at all. The interesting thing is that the panel lines here are recessed. Not very strongly, but they are recessed. Whereas if we look at the fuselage here, the panel lines on the fuselage are in relief. So what I might do is actually, there's not that many of them, so I might clean those down and chase those out and make them recessed. It just seems a bit strange to do that. On all the flying surfaces, even on this here, you can see that his pillow-like marking here is where you've got recessed lines in the mold. Let's see, instrument panel. It's basic, but not too shabby for its age. This is a 1980 kit, 1979, 1980 kit. Again, the panels on the nose part that I'm going to use here are in relief, so I can just clean those out. It's not bad. I mean, the plastic is, like most Matchbox plastic, it's quite robust feeling. The black plastic parts here, you can see there's a few mold issues there, and again there's a few scuff marks, but once again these we can clean out. The panels here are recessed, so that's all very easy to deal with. A little bit more scuffing there on the back end of the undercarriage bay. And here we go, Matchbox Leslie Productions and Company Limited, copyright 1980. And here, made in England. Excellent. So they look okay. And everyone's very complimentary about the pilots on these things, and you can see why if I can get it focused. There goes the pilot, radio operator, and bomb aimer figures, and they look fine. They'll be painted up quite nicely. Guns a bit basic, but they'll be okay because they're going to be sticking through a really thick piece of plastic in the clear part, the turret. They'll just be poking through there. Radiator grills non-existent, really. They haven't made an attempt at the filters there. I'll probably just put some gunmetal in or something like that. Tyres look fine. There's some nice detailing on the hubs, good enough for 1/72 and of this age. Yeah, not too bad at all actually. And the clear parts, I'm struck by how thick the turret pieces are. These are really thick bits of plastic, and the cockpit as well. But that's that's the molding of the day. They were really thick pieces of plastic. The other thing I do note is the quite astonishing frame to part ratio. I mean, the parts are quite small and the frames are massive. Now I don't know if it was the technology they had to inject pure polystyrene, because remember the transparent parts are effectively pure polystyrene without any flow improvers and other additives in there, because otherwise it wouldn't be transparent. These days they seem to be able to inject maybe different temperatures, maybe different pressures of mold, but you don't tend to get these really massively thick chunks of polystyrene anymore. But the parts themselves look fine enough. They look detailed enough, and that's good. That's all we need to worry about. Here's the decal sheet. As you can see, it is showing signs of wear, but this was produced as long after the Halifaxes it depicts were in service as I am looking at it as. This was made like almost 40 years after these aircraft were flying, just a bit less, and this is now 44 years old. So fair play, they are going to look a bit tired. Here we have the common ones. So we have this red square that goes over one of the wings. I don't know if that's one of those gas panels they used to have, maybe, but it hasn't got that colour in the middle, so don't know whether it is or not. The main roundels here and here, these white spotty bits, I'm not sure what those are. I'll find out. These no step markings, fine. These little emergency markings here, that is common only because that you can put on a stand if you happen to have one. The parts for the one I'm making, 58 Squadron, the decals are all here. So there's a couple of trestles to open pull handle. individual aircraft markings from within the squadron, thin flashes around. Here, interesting, the serial was Hotel Romeo 7902 with a G, which means the aircraft had to be guarded whilst it's on the ground, possibly because it had the H2S radar on board, and that at the time would have been highly classified. So this aircraft on the ground had to be guarded. Interesting little point. This is the B Mark 1 of 76 Squadron, and this the B Mark 2 of number 10 Squadron, and these decals here are common to both the 76 and the 10 Squadron aircraft. So the roundels, the equal space roundels with the yellow outside, and the trestle marks in yellow, because of course these undersides would be black, so these would have to be in yellow. And the door opening here, for the crew door opening instructions, again would have to be yellow because the underside was black. The underside of the Coastal Command aircraft was white. Okay, so a bit more of a closer zoom in, but let's be kind because they are very, very old. You can see, this is my 0.5mm pencil edge. You can see that the advances in kit design have also been mirrored by advances in the way that print can be applied on transfers, because they're a little bit hazy, a little bit blunt. These no steps are not terribly well done. These little yellow ones, not great either. I mean, you can read them, which is remarkable. After all this time, the yellow is not a bad colour actually. There's a bit of hazing over the top, you can see. I don't know whether that would disappear on use. I will be putting modern decals on wherever I can. They're not terrible. Let me say, they're not terrible, but they're not brilliant either. The key here is to make sure that these work. Things like this and these work, and the trestle things are okay. The rest of it, no steps, I've got loads of those. These, I don't even know what these are, but I'll find out soon enough. The standard roundels, I've got tons of the spares, and I have lettering as spares, but that's kind of important that still works. If that still works and looks okay, I'll use the others as well. But, you know, of the time, they're not bad, but the colours are really quite nice. And you could use them. You could probably use them as long as you can get them off the backing and keep them right there, don't disintegrate, not too fragile. You could definitely use them. The instructions came rolled up in a compartment in the box, some sort of ancient scroll. There are two parts to it. There's this one part which has a history of the aircraft in English, French, German, Italian, Spanish and Japanese. Has some basic specifications here as well, but this is also the sheet that has the colour layouts. It's quite a big sheet of paper actually. So this is what I'm doing with the dark sea grey over white. Very beautiful colour. It means I can do some nice little bits of weathering on it, some sea type weathering. This is the aircraft of 76 Squadron, scheme number 2. As you can see, the black undersides, and it's B1, so it's got the nose turret and the chin blister for the bomber aimer. And then similarly the B2 here of number 10 Squadron. There we go, which go on there. Again, this is quite a big sheet, a big sheet of paper. It's fully out. It's like a broadsheet newspaper size. It's actually quite large. Anyway, so that's one sheet that you get. The other sheet are the actual instructions. Again, a huge piece of paper. There's the colour callouts here, and these are Humbrol numbers that are included here. So that's quite useful because they're very easy to either to use Humbrol colours, of course, or to convert them to your favoured scheme. These appear to be fairly recent colours as well. I know sometimes the colours are, especially when they change from early enamels to later enamels and then to acrylic, some of the numbers change. But 53 is still gunmetal, 78 is still RAF interior green, and so on and so forth. So most of those colours are going to be absolutely as they should be. A lot of the parts are shown painting the parts on in these little insets, including the pilots, the propellers, gear, and so on and so forth. The actual instructions start over here with the pilot and the navigator or radio operator, the turrets. Then there's sort of various options to the different types of aircraft. So the GR2 is one I'm making, so it has the turret on the back. Otherwise, I remember that there was that little plug that goes there for the B1 and the B2. Didn't have a mid-upper turret, of course. Likewise, the B1 and B2 had the nose turret. The GR2 didn't. It just had a plain fairing. And same again with the tailplanes. The B1 and B2 had the rounded ended ones, and GR3 had the flat. I think that's probably equivalent to a. So sorry, that's a GR2. It's probably like a B Mark III. B Mark III would have had the Bristol Hercules engine, so not the Merlins, like these aircraft did. So it looks fairly straightforward, I have to say. I'm saying with such confidence, but I haven't actually built it yet. Things that are going to be a trouble are going to be these bomb bays. I might just put the bomb bays closed on there because there's no weapons in there, so there's not an awful lot of point having the bomb bays open. So there we go. That's the instruction sheet for my Halifax. I have wanted to build a Halifax for such a long time, and while we're waiting for FX to get its act together and make a new one, this is going to sort of deal with my craving for a little while at least. I'm really excited to build this. If you'd like to see how I get on with it, please do remember, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also then hit the bell and you'll be notified of all my future videos, including the build video of this kit, as they are published. And of course, anything you see on my channel that you like, please do remember, give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below there, because every like counts. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again on the channel soon. Take good care now, and goodbye.